information of each, and then after you encounter the, I can talk a bit about more for whoever wants to stay a bit longer. So this is the first ever unveiling of this. Oh, I forgot to bring the photograph of this child. So these men here were from a photograph I had wanted to do a memorial to one of the victims of the Nazi euthanasia, I prefer capital punishment, of the disabled. It was called T4, Action T4, which preceded and paved the way for the final solution, systematic murder of European Jewry and Romani and Sinti peoples, AKA gypsies. And I was actually working on the drawing for a while. I don't know, at some point or other I found out, after the drawing was all underway, that this was not a Protestant or Roman Catholic victim. But since I was already underway, I continued with it anyway. I wanted to do a Protestant or Roman Catholic disabled victim. So I found out that these prisoners, they were Action T4 prisoners in Buchenwald concentration camp in Germany. And the identification labels they were wearing was a black triangle. I guess this is pretty abstracted here, over a white triangle designating the fact that they were Jewish and whatever the color symbols for the Nazi, their whole shtick, that they were disabled. And I don't know who any of the prisoners were by name or how they were murdered. That's actually unimportant to me, but we can completely assume that they were put to death. Similar to the all the sketches from different hikes and so on, Scotland, the Cascades, Green Lake, what have you. I took a whole lot of different sketches from sketchbooks going back as far as 1972. People, I've got some relatives, like my folks, little short sketches from the 1990s, tugboat by Myrtle Edwards Park, chicken sketches, an old girlfriend standing on like a skiff or whatever, harpooning me. Very personalized. That was a sketch I had done for artwork that never got realized beyond like the sketches, and I took it out of the sketchbook, mounted it on here, and added some like blue wash around it. More birds, cows, my brother, another girlfriend, one who dumped me, anyway.
How did you really feel?
What's that?
I said, how did you really feel?
Oh, man. This, several people asked me what this is here. It's from a photographic plate from this set of plates I bought at Yad Vashem, the Israeli Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem, from an exhibit called, I think it was called No Child's Play, and all these like dolls and things that camp inmates made. And there's this, I did a kind of composite of two different dolls. One was by, I think, an inmate at Auschwitz, and one was at Mauthausen, a camp in Austria. This here was from a black and white plate from something for the Passover holiday from some town or city in Germany, from a book I have, Jewish Art and Civilization. The artwork is titled, comes from a James Taylor song from his first album in 1967 called I'm Just Knocking Around the Zoo. The title is called I'm Just Knocking Around the Zoo, ... with sea monsters and a sea serpent. Sea monsters and a sea serpent. There's two sea monsters. There's one here. There's whatever you want.
That's a sea monster to me.
This one here?
Yeah, it looks like wow.
Some people have said it's something else, which I'll wait on. Okay. There's like a smaller one here, which I think of like a piranha, and there's like a sea, kind of like a sea serpent snake here. So it's called I'm Just Knocking Around the Zoo, with sea monsters and a sea serpent at the Buchenwald concentration camp, 1939.
Question, keep ahead, have you had a chance to travel to these places where all history?
Well, I've been to parts of Europe. I spent several months in Poland in the 1980s, which is basically how my art led to the dramatic shift in my art. I began doing responses to being in Poland while I was there, and then right after I came back from my first trip to Poland. And I know you two have to, Connie and Don have to leave. So this is done from a photograph of a child I had first seen in the website of the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. around 1994. I forgot to bring the photo down. The child's standing outdoors with this scarf that looks like it's made out of twine. And when I first saw the photograph, I gasped. And I've always called the child with the bird's nest scarf. And I've actually depicted the child in a different artwork in the Wing series many years ago. A very small depiction. And I had made a large photocopy of the child, and every now and then, every once in every few years, I would look at it. And earlier this year, I pulled it out of this cabinet and looked at it and said, you know, I'm going to do this drawing I've been threatening to do for years, same size as the photo enlargement I had made. And then we have a gefilte fish or a sea monster, whatever you want. How many sea monsters do you see in the mosaic here?
Two.
Two? I hear two. Anyone else?
1, 2, and if you consider the gefilte fish or a sea monster.
The one, the yellow one? Two.
See two up there.
Okay, that's good. Because this one, to me, didn't come out really sharply defined. So I'm glad to see that people are seeing a second sea monster. This one to me is more visible. I never know with the mosaics in terms of how, depends on what color I use and what color grout and things like that. But yeah, so this is called the sea monsters and the child with the bird's nest scarf in the Kielce ghetto, Nazi-occupied Poland. The photograph was taken, I think, January 1st or 2nd, 1942. And I'm certain that the child would not have survived. Children, the infirm, and the elderly were always the first to be deported to the camps. Questions? Comments? Feedback?
Why so many sea monsters?
What's that?
Why so many sea monsters?
Why so many sea monsters? I don't know. That's actually this is something that only began since, I guess, 2017, because none of the many years of other drawings or other mosaics, mosaic drawing combos in the Wing series or other Holocaust art I've done, or even art have sea monsters. So just, I don't know, part of my, my wanting to do teaching with children, and to, I don't know, I have to leave this to the art critics and the newspaper writers if I can get some write-ups for them to interpret. Why is he doing sea monsters? But I like audience interaction. It's the best thing. If I can get some of these into schools and get kids talking, that would be my main goal for now. So a main goal.
I don't know if everyone can see from where they're sitting, but before the portrait, you have a chalice and a very rusted pair of pliers on a base that looks like the hinges of an old door or cupboard.
Right.
Is there something to be
The
noted there?
pliers I picked up sometime in the last half year on the sidewalk, somewhere in the neighborhood, I forget where. Somewhere between, let's say, the Douglas Street Library Ranch and here. And I said, oh, well, here we go. Stuck up in my backpack and I said,
Puget Sound. It is so rusted.
right. The two metal things, I don't remember, I don't think they were from all this musical metal stuff I bought, but I don't remember where I got it. This thing was in the exchange table we have in the garage downstairs, and I picked it up and noticed it sitting on a table upstairs in my apartment and ended there. The music hall. 1, 2, 3, there's 5 of those things. I think they were like from sinks, like plumbing fixtures. This is also from the music hall, some kind of wrench-like thing. And this was from the music hall. Here's another one here. So it seemed like a good way to get rid of some of this, what would otherwise be considered pure junk.
It'd be a plug for a sink, so you got something at the bottom, the rod can go in there, you push it up and down, and then the top part would close the seal water off.
Oh, I thought it was from a pipe organ.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you said?
Well, it would be for plumbing,
For
and
plumbing,
it'd be
yeah.
for a sink, so you can stop the water and keep the water in the sink, and then you have a hand lever or something to move the thing up and down to either block the water or let it through.
I see. Thanks. It's this here. I had an old rickety table in my apartment for years, which I finally threw out a few years ago here. I disassembled it and saved the metal parts. And when I put these two up here, I was trying to remember where I remembered having put another one in a different mosaic drawing cup. I didn't remember what it was. This is like covered, so now I see where it was. This thing I picked up, I forget if I was either walking or biking along Lake Washington by Leshai, and it was like on the sidewalk, like someone had thrown it out, and it was kind of falling apart, cracked. It was like the front of an old birdhouse. So I managed to get it on here and added like this metal here to make it more secure. But another example, like taking up junk and making it into art.
Kristen, do you use power tools for some of this? Or is this
The
all
only
hand cut?
power tool